Hi, it's Hannah here from Herbology, and we are currently midway through September, which means we are in Virgo month. So if you were born between about the 23rd of August and the 22nd or 23rd of September, depending on which year it is, you were born under the sun sign of Virgo. So to make my posts easier to manage from now on, I'm going to go through the different ailments and health issues that happen with each zodiac sign as we go through the year. So Virgo is quite an interesting one because it's an earth sign. Virgo tends to be very practical, very down to earth. They are the voice of reason. They are the ones who will keep you making the sensible decisions if that's what you need. They love a spreadsheet, they love a list, they are super organised, super practical, exactly the kind of person you would want on your parish council or your committee. And they just love keeping everything orderly. They like hygiene, they like everything just in its place, and we need people like that in the world, don't we? The downside to that is it can go a little bit too far, and then they can end up with anxiety, lots of worrying, lots of stress, and sometimes even obsessive compulsive type patterns going on. But what I really wanted to focus on today was Virgo as being associated with psychosomatic illness. And that's because Virgo is ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is all to do with the subconscious mind and consciousness, and it rules the nervous system, and it rules speech as well. So it's all about how the mind and body interact when it comes to manifesting illness. That's what psychosomatic means. So psycho is obviously relating to the mind, and the somatic bit is relating to the body. Some people misunderstand what psychosomatic means, and they take it to mean that the person has basically made up their illness, or they're imagining their symptoms and it's all in their mind, which is not necessarily the case. I don't think I've ever met anyone in all my years where I've thought that they're actually making up their illness. But I have met people who have become very ill, and occasionally it has been all down to stress. And once they have stopped worrying about whatever thing it was they were worrying about, their physical symptoms clear up completely. And we all know that stress can really contribute to illness. But to me, psychosomatic illness, or sometimes we call it metaphysical, is much bigger than that. And there's a whole language that our subconscious mind uses to draw our attention to something that's not right, that it's not happy about, and it uses the body as a metaphor in order to do that. Now, if you think about it, we say things all the time, don't we, that relate to this and never really think much about them. So we might say, I was really gutted about that. And that's talking about, something emotional, something that's upset you. But we're talking about the guts. We're talking about a kick in the guts or being gutted. Why are we referring to that part of our body when we're talking about being upset? Well, we've always done it, and not just in the English speaking world, other parts of the world as well. And then more recently, we've been looking at the gut-brain connection, haven't we, in science and medicine, and the relationship between the brain in your head and the brain in your solar plexus, and now also the brain on your heart. So it's interesting when science and medicine kind of back what we've been doing and saying for centuries. And we say other things as well. That was a real headache. That was a real pain in the neck. These sorts of phrases are not to be taken lightly. Way back in the early 90s, when I first trained in Reiki, my Reiki master was very hot on this kind of stuff. And she taught us all the metaphysical meanings for different illnesses and injuries in different parts of the body. So I've kind of tried to look objectively at that over the years, because I'm not one just to believe the first thing I'm told. And, there does seem to be rather a lot of truth in that. And certainly when we start using things like hypnotherapy, then you really get in to the deep stuff and the deep reasons why people get sick and why they stay in chronic illness and chronic pain for a number of years. So I can tell you a few more stories about that as time goes by. But to me, certainly, we don't get sick by coincidence or by chance or by bad luck. There are always reasons why we get sick on the subconscious level. We're complex beings. We are not just physical. We have an emotional side and a psychological side and a spiritual side as well. So it's never just one thing, and it's always worth exploring the reasons why you get sick. So there's a whole kind of language that our body uses to do this, and I will talk more about that as time goes by and give you some different interpretations. But please don't for one moment think that you're sick just because of bad luck, because it's never that. You know, there's always a reason, and there's always things you can do to overcome that. So if you feel like you're trapped in illness or in certain patterns that you are no longer happy to be trapped in, it's worth thinking about it consciously to begin with, and just thinking, okay, let's just sit down quietly for a minute and ask my subconscious what that's all about. And see if you just get anything. You know, just sit quietly, have a cup of tea and turn everything off, and just give yourself a little bit of peace and quiet and just see what comes to you. And sometimes stuff will come to you, and sometimes it will take a bit longer. I've had a health issue now for over a year. And I could probably have just had hypnotherapy months ago and figured out what that was all about, but for some reason I haven't. We're all doing our things in our own time. But finally now I'm starting to get the message behind what that's all about and what I need to do about it. So if you are struggling and you're not getting anywhere by doing it that way, let me know, and let's have a look at some hypnotherapy, because there is no quicker way that I know to really get to the bottom of what's going on with your health and find some ways forward. So I hope you found this interesting. If you have, please do like and share it, and I will be back soon talking about more Virgo stuff. I'll see you later. Bye.